You have turned to shit. Um, Let me give you a quick rundown of what's going on. So this all began for me back in Madden '09 on the Xbox. Very fun game. It was really fun to play on. When I got the PS3, I started collecting all the newer Maddens. I got 13, 25, 15. I also collected even older Maddens like Madden 10, 11, and 12. And then 16 came along. Draft Champions was the most sought after game mode that's ever been put into Madden in a long time since Ultimate Team was first introduced. Back in Madden 10. And this game mode was fun for many people. But for me though, I was on the PS3 still when I was playing on 16. The problem with it was that you weren't able to actually play ranked and actually receive rewards for playing ranked. You were just playing just head-to-head draft champions 4 games and that's it. You draft on your team. So Madden 17 comes along. And also on the next gen consoles, they also did put in tickets and ranked. But for my situation, it was just H2H. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad they put in the like the redraft time at 20 minutes, so that way you can either wait out the 20 minutes, or B, play with your team and let the 20 minutes pass by. So let's get down to Madden 17. Um, the game didn't have a lot of content. That's why I didn't really upload a lot of MUT. I didn't really think about any other series. I did some draft champions only on Tuesday nights because the drafts are totally bummed out now. They're not any good unless you played on Tuesday night draft. But Tuesday night drafts today are gone. As of today, they're gone. Um, Now let's get to Madden 18. This is the theme of this episode, and unfortunately, it has turned into a bad game, just completely terrible. This year probably has been the worst year I've ever seen Madden-wise in the past 10 years. Madden 15, though, for me, wasn't my favorite either. So, Madden 18 is probably the second worst game I've ever played, um, regarding Madden games. No, we don't want demo mode. I'll hop onto my team, so that way it doesn't do that. Hold on. Okay, anyways, um, Madden 18, so here was the first few problems with it. The first thing that I didn't like was regarding the content. I think most of it was amazing content and it was really easy and accessible to all users, like the previous one, the Ultimate Freeze, and all the other ones. Like Most Feared wasn't that hard. Thanksgiving was a little hard. It wasn't that easy, so I'm not gonna say Thanksgiving was any easy. Team of the Week really isn't easy either. You just have to be lucky with your pulls or just have enough coins in the auction market to simply get your players that you need, get the set completed, and move on with your day. But here's where it gets down to the nitty gritty. Um, there are so many things wrong with Madden for this year. Draft champions. This is the first thing I want to touch on. Now remember earlier how I said it was the most sought after game mode in the game. And the reason why I say that for next gen as well is because they had tickets, but with the tickets you can use them for ranked. But without the tickets you can play unranked, which basically means you can play draft champions without using the tickets. 17 was the same exact thing. You didn't have to do that. In 18, however, they only have ranked and solo. You can play a friend, but it's just not as fun without playing someone random. So, solo is basically you versus computer. They need to get rid of that as a whole. That is the stupidest idea ever. Nobody wants to play against the computer. And they also have another thing for tickets. Just to play ranked champions nowadays, it costs 5 tickets, which is 15,000 coins or 300 points. Now, or yeah, 300 points. Now some may say, well, that's not too bad. But the problem is with me is that I like to spend coins a lot, which is a personal problem. I shouldn't do that a lot. And I don't go out and just buy tickets for 15K a pop. It just doesn't work. It seems unfair to me. Um so when they took out unranked draft champions, I was like, wow, I'm not able to play draft champions anymore. There goes that. Salary cap was never a good idea. It honestly limits your good players, which I guess is okay. So you don't have to play overpowered squads all the time. Um Next up we have Ultimate Team itself. Here's the problem. We have players spending hundreds of dollars, over I think $1,000 to $2,000 just on Madden alone, which is embarrassing to say the least. The problem with this is that this gives people who usually grind on the game and do all the solo challenges and stuff, well, they have to waste about several hours of their time. Now, if you guys don't remember the last stream, I was talking about this and how it take me about 2 hours to be able to do that whole playoff sequence. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It takes way too much time for more people. So, instead of doing the challenges, they just buy the packs, because who cares? And spending like $50 or $100 every now and again isn't the worst thing. I totally think that's okay. I'm not saying go out and spend $50 to $100 every now and again. I totally think that's a waste of money. EA has rigged the packs, and if you've seen YouTubers out there who are pulling good stuff, don't open packs, okay? I'm warning you guys now, and especially kids. Do not open packs on Madden 18. I think the reason why is because YouTubers have been getting juiced pulls by EA. EA has been linked with their account because they flew them out, they've given them everything. When they open packs, however, they pull everything good. Like, no matter what. This leads to little kids wanting to pay $50 out of their mom or dad's card and spend money for just no reason whatsoever. And and maybe let's say Jimmy or some random person asks his mom, say, can I spend $50 to get this Cam Newton? And he's like, okay. And she's like, okay, fine. Yeah, you can spend $50 to get the Cam Newton. Um, so then he says, well, I don't get the Cam Newton. I have a chance at getting the Cam Newton. Then she says, well, what's the point of me giving you the money if you don't get the player? That's the point. It's a game of roulette. The problem with this is that it's totally misleading to people who have spent money on the game and yet they wind up not getting anything. But bigger YouTubers, they know who they are. They get the better pulls because their packs are juiced. You can confirm this with any other YouTuber. You can do this with Toke, Anto the Boss. Now, no shade toward these guys. These guys are amazing YouTubers, but I just want to list out some examples to show my point. We have Anto, QJB from time to time, Toke, etc. So now that all the kids have spent their money, they now use their team and then they play their games. The problem is now with this is that there's people who spend like thousands of dollars on this game on Madden 18 and they have overpowered teams. And they're not even scared to admit that they spend $1,000. Although it's embarrassing, they spend $1,000 and they know they spend it. It doesn't matter. And you end up playing overpowered teams, which the matchmaking on MUT is garbage, which is why I recommend playing online head-to-head, because you're playing with the authentic rosters and you're playing against people that may have cheesed playbooks, but you can still beat them. They just have to have an overpowered team. But with MUT, you get the overpowered players regardless of the team. So it's basically you're taking a chance of getting an easier team rather than a harder team. The harder team always comes up. You never ever get an easier team. Instead, what happens is that people are resulting in finding ways to really I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but in advanced settings before you even get into the game, I'm not sure if they took this out of MUP, but I know they still have it in online head-to-head. It's basically where you can press square and you can look at their DNQ rate or DNF rate, and you can and then you can find those people, and they usually have the easier teams because they're always playing against harder teams that have players that would have cost them a lot to get. So if you don't have millions of coins and you don't have a good team, well, you're screwed. And these are kids as well that don't have the money to buy coins at all. So this is ridiculous in a sense. So let me get down to the big part. The whole reason why I'm making this video, the gameplay. The game's scripted. This just is completely scripted. Just um here's what's wrong with it. So first off, the special teams. Let's go with this first. Kickoff. No, not kickoffs, but field goals and PATs in particular is the one you notice the most. Um, so imagine this in your head. You are down by 1 with about 2 seconds in the fourth quarter. You take the extra point to tie the game so you can send it to OT and perhaps win the game. Now, here's part A. Your kicker does its normal little formation and he gets it in. You go to overtime. Now here's the other part to this. The other thing that could happen is your kicker can slide back 1 step and then you know it's over. It's a blocked field goal and the opponent has more than likely taken it for a touchdown. Or actually instead it's a 2-point conversion. So now you've lost the game. And all because your kicker slid back just a hair. And it's a noticeable hair as well. There are several YouTubers who have pointed this out actually. I'm not going to link it, but if you guys just search it up, you guys will find it eventually. I saw this one YouTuber who did make a video on it, and it shows exactly what I'm telling you guys about right now. So, let's get into the next part about this. The receiving as a whole. So there is playmaking, which is to continue the play, which is amazing. But the problem is with it is that you have people scrambling out of the pocket, and the linebacker who's probably on the running back or against the tight end. Now the tight end's streaking or the running back streaking up the field. The linebacker can't stay with him on that route. So now he's got to come back all the way, and he can't even freaking do anything about it. Because the running back's already taken off about 5 yards downfield, and he's still loose running. And then we have rolling out of the pocket. The AI comes down to get the quarterback. That leaves a receiver open or a tight end open. He throws it off to the dump off man, and he runs forward. Now this could easily be changed up if you user the guy first, or if you just change your route up, but a lot of people just don't do that. So this winds up being a problem for most. Now let me talk about the running. This is another big problem with EA and Madden. Firstly, the running is I'm not talking about the ball carry. Actually, no, exactly what I'm talking about. The ball carrying is ridiculous. You can but the run, whether you're catching and running it, or you're just scrambling, or you're just running, I think that animation's totally fine. The problem is that when you play competitive, or actually any of the 3 game modes really, which they need to fix, juking is overpowered. Way too overpowered. Secondly, the spinning is overpowered as well. it's almost impossible to not get caught on a spin move. Now, unless you hit stick, which I do personally, then you can obviously see why they would juke or spin. But for others who do have a chance at the player who are not diving or hit sticking or attempting a hit stick, these players are juking right away and they know it's going to work every time because the game's just broken, completely broken. Now, sometimes it won't work depending on the player's juke, but most of the time it works. Alright, so let me get to another problem with the game. It's tackling. Um, Tackling has been a big issue for the past few years. I think the last time they had good tackling in the game was I think in 16, maybe even 25. No, I think it was 15. I feel like it was either 15 or 16 where it was the last good tackling game. Um, so basically your player would have a chance at the guy and he wouldn't dive, like you would press square or X for some, or you would have a chance at him, you make a conservative tackle with X or A, and the player doesn't even bother with the tackle. You do a hit stick, you miss most of the time because the hit stick direction I think needs to be changed. It's completely bad, but then again I can see why they added it. Um, then the last thing that I have a problem with is the let me think. Is just running up for the tackle and gang tackling. I saw this one clip just a few minutes ago which inspired me to make this video in the first place. Where this offensive lineman was running and this dude had about 8 people on the other team ready to tackle him and no one could tackle him. That is ridiculous. That needs to be changed. Because you're basically running up and you can trip him up, but again, it's so scripted that, well, he's going to run it in for a touchdown anyways. So, that is a lot of points in 17 minutes there. Um, Now let me talk about the other game modes and what I think about them. Play Now Live, great game mode. I really do like it. Wish it wasn't so. I wish it wasn't based on connected franchise. However, just isn't really good for me. I just don't like it that much. I didn't really use it. The weekend league and MUT, I don't really use it either. I just think it's a waste of time instead of actually doing something with your life. You're basically spending your life freaking playing in the weekend league, which gets you rewards. But then again, you just lost about 48 hours of your time just playing some stupid game. Um, Next up is franchise mode. A franchise, I love franchise. I completely love franchise. It's one of my favorite game modes in the game. I do think it needs some changing. I really want it to change next year because I really like franchise mode now. I'm completely hooked onto it. I was hooked onto it back in um 13, I'm pretty sure, maybe even 12. I was completely hooked onto that. And skill trainer, I don't know anyone who uses that. There's of course the gauntlet, but no one really plays that anymore. Next up we have practice mode, which is good for practicing online head-to-head, which I mentioned before. One of my favorite things to play on, which is basically where you play one-on-one with the same rosters as real life, and you play against someone online. Next game mode up is the long shot. I was utterly disappointed in this game mode. Long shot is probably one of the worst game modes I've ever seen put into a Madden game. And here's the major reason why I didn't like it. There is not a chance in heck you're going to be playing in the NFL. Like, once you get drafted, that's it. It's over. Now, I have heard reports that they're going to do this again, but they're actually going to have you play in the NFL in Madden 19, but it's unconfirmed. And, I feel like customizable names like they do in 2K needs to be changed as well. instead they should give you a nickname that you can address all characters as, like 2K does, like hey DJ, hey freak. 2K16 reference, anybody? No, I didn't like it either. Um, like some nickname that no matter the character's actual name will make sense. That's something they can do. Um, let's see. And then again, I already touched on Mutt Draft and why I hated it. What's up, Math Boy? And Mutt, I've already said it's not any good. So in my opinion, if you have Madden 18, I feel sorry because no one deserves to have such a garbage game this year. And if you don't have this game, don't buy it. Just don't at all. It's not worth your money. I think your money should wait till next year because this year's game should be good. I heard they're changing stuff up with the Frostbite engine. They wanted to try it out for 18, but we didn't really get a lot. So in Madden 19, it should be better. I'm hoping it gets better. If it doesn't, I may stop buying Madden games as a whole. But this is some of the reasons why I've stopped playing Madden on this channel. Um, so just in case you guys were wondering, wait, where's Madden at? You feature Madden a lot in your older videos. Well, I'm probably not going to be posting it as much due to the fact that this game is garbage. One of the worst Maddens I've played in a long time. Um, so if you were to get a rating out of me, I'm not IGN, I didn't really make a review in the beginning of the year. I get about a 7, maybe 6.5. The game modes and stuff seem fun, but when you play online, it's terrible. Also, Mutt Squads, I forgot that one. Mutt Squads, it's bad because I'll explain why it's bad real quick. First off, your teammates, you really have to have a party. Like, you have to have a party of 3. If you try to play if you try to play with randoms, they will hog it to them and their other teammate all the time because those two are in a party and they could care less about you. Now, there are some teams that aren't like this and they actually do manage to give it around a few times, maybe once or twice to the random teammate, and then they'll give it to their own side, which I'm cool with. I don't really mind with it. I don't really mind that. But when it comes down to playing Mutt Squads, the people who are even offensive or defensive captains are sometimes terrible. Sometimes you get good teammates, sometimes you get really bad ones. And unfortunately, the people who are offensive and defensive captains aren't really aware that the other teammate they have has a good offense, a way better offense, and a way better defense than those two do. So what ends up happening is that you play as the coach for the terrible team you have to be on, and you wind up just hating the game. Now, also there's ball hogging, of course, with kickoffs, offense. Defense, I can't really say the same for defense. It happens everywhere in Mutt Squads. It's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. Even Madden 25 was better. And Madden 25 did it good, too. I don't like Mutt, honestly. I want the old online team play back. I do not want Mutt Squads back. If it does return back, I'm not going to play it at all. Because I do think it's a worthless game mode that's not worth playing. They've even added Mutt Squad seasons. So basically, you and your buddies have to have a team with that one. I'm not gonna bother with Mutt Squads because it's probably one of the worst things I've played. And I was really looking forward to that game mode too. I had several. I was excited for a long time. But then when I noticed it was Mutt Squads and I played a few games, I'm like, oh no, these people are terrible. They don't give the ball to everybody. They're really bad. Like, it's not fair to those who really do like to play the game and they wind up getting some garbage like Madden 18. So in conclusion, I'm going to stay with my grade of about 6.5 just again, really terrible game, but with really good game modes. I think they can capitalize a little better next year, but as far as now goes, do not give EA your money. I don't care if it's mud, I don't care if you haven't bought the game yet, just don't give EA your money. It's not worth it. They need to learn themselves to make a better game and stop copying the same game over and over and over again. 2K has changed their game a little bit. I don't like the shot meter. They need to change that back. I did like the old one. Please. Thank you. Um, there's a lot of stuff that I did like from 2K, and there's a lot of stuff I didn't like. But in the end, the game's not all that bad. The packs are way better. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I literally pulled the $25 worth of packs, and I got that Malone and Weber that you guys could watch. I'm not gonna link it, but it's on my channel somewhere. And it was really cool because I was like, dang, we only spent $25 and we pulled these two great players. I can't believe it. So, honestly, if you want my personal opinion, do not go out and buy Madden packs. Do not go out and buy Madden if you haven't yet. Now, I don't mind dissing Madden because I feel like it's been terrible for years, and there's something that is always bad every year. In 17, it was the lack of content and mud. In 15, it was user picks. In 16, it was, especially in the older gen consoles, it was making contested catches. In 25, it was the lack of excitement in and connected franchise. There's tons of stuff that weren't good from every Madden game, but they seem to not be too bad. But this year tops it. I've officially just wanted to stop playing Madden for a long time. I have not thought about this for a long time. I never really put my mind into thinking about this, but this game has probably been the worst I've seen in the years I've played this game. Now, if Madden 19 turns out to be the exact same clone that 18 was or is, I'm not buying 19. I'm not buying Madden 19, okay? So, EA, please step it up. And if you don't, I'm not buying your game. You lost a customer because you guys have a lack of awareness of what your fans really want. I like the gameplay additions and stuff before the game came out, but there's tons more stuff you need to drop off the game. And you don't listen to your fans, so why does it even matter? So yeah, I'm off. I'm done ranting about this. I don't plan on playing a game, so if you guys were glad you guys got to see me rage while on my team, hopefully you all enjoyed that. This was 30 minutes long, a couple minutes more than I thought this was going to be, but then again, I did think this was going to be about 25 minutes to 20 to 25 minutes. So yeah, I'm about done with this rant. These are reasons why I'm not playing Madden 18 anymore. Not really a lot, but I'll try to play more. I'll try to play as much as possible when good content and the game gets better. Until then, don't don't even try to get me to play Madden 18 for a YouTube video. I'll play it off camera and stuff, but when they release good content and fix the game, I will not be streaming on it. I'd much rather stream on 2K and MLB, mainly 2K really. Some Rocket League, some NASCAR Heat 2. I don't mind playing on those games instead. Because I've got tons of games I can choose, and I'm not gonna play Madden 18 because the game's just broken as a whole. So I'm signing off. Bye, everybody.